So as we talk more about the impact of social media on customer engagement, we talk with CRM Essentials, Brent Leary. Brent, let's talk specifically about Social Media Today's 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index. Now, this is an annual survey. It's the fourth year. It's a survey that you've been involved with. People don't know about it. Talk about the survey.
Yeah, so Social Media Today, and with the help of SAP, who was the lead sponsor from the beginning till up until this point, we wanted to start looking at how companies were leveraging social and mobile technologies, not from a marketing and promotion standpoint, which is still critically important, but really looking at it from a customer engagement, customer service, customer experience standpoint. And so back in 2010, we fielded our first surveys, around 18, 19 questions, just to try to start getting a handle on what the Social Media Today community and the group of great professionals and really leaders in the area of social business, how their companies were integrating social into customer service, customer support. What were some of the challenges? What were some of the what they felt with the social networks? Which ones were the most effective? And just getting an overall sense of how that piece, how social integration was impacting their goals from a customer service perspective and the relationship they have with customers. It was 2010. We only had about 118 folks take the survey. Let's fast forward to 2013, which is the 2014 report that was just released. The data came out of our survey from the 2013 time period, but we had over 1,200 people take the survey, which was great. It gave us so much more information, so much better idea of what was going on. But we had 4 years of information culminating in the 2013 survey. And what we found was that there's more emphasis being put on social. There's more experience. There's more integration, not just from a person perspective. So we're seeing integrated teams take place. We're also seeing more integrated processes, and everything seems to be integrating even more so with the overall company strategy with customer experience. So we're seeing a lot of more cohesiveness. We're seeing a lot more experience, and we're seeing more interactions taking place from a service perspective over social channels. And it is impacting the overall goals and objectives of the companies and the people that were taking this year's survey.
So when I look at the 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index that you worked on here, there are so many interesting stats and trends that come out of this. Let's talk about some of the most interesting. A shift to mobile, Facebook still being on top, response time, and how it continues to matter even more and more. Don't let me be the one that says all of these. You tell us, what are the most interesting stats or facts or trends that came out of this for you, Brent?
One of the things that really jumped out to me, and I looked at it from 2010 till this latest one, was there's a lot of emphasis and a lot of talk and a lot of discussion about social media and customer service. And so one of the questions that we asked from the very first survey till this last one was, what percentage of the interactions, your customer service interactions, are actually taking place over social channels? Like Facebook, like Twitter, like anything, LinkedIn, whatever you're using, your own branded communities. And really, when you look at it, I think this year we had about 15% of the folks say that at least 25% of their customer service interactions are, they're coming over social channels. So when you think about it, it's a trend that is easy to see from 2010 to 2013 and 2014. It's easy to see, but when you think about it, the big picture, it's still a drop in the bucket compared to the traditional channels of phone and email, and so although we are seeing big movement, it's still not from the overall perspective, still not the greatest channels in terms of just sheer numbers and amounts. So moving in the same direction, but big picture perspective, it's still got a long ways to go before it displaces something like the phone or email. The other thing that really was fascinating to me is there's more emphasis on speed. You're seeing companies trying to figure out how they can provide a faster response time. And there's some kind of distinction too that we're seeing and hearing about, from some of the case studies that we went through, that it's not always about solving the issue as fast as possible, although everybody tries to do that. But it seems to be more important to respond as quickly as possible and show that you're diligently working on the issue, whatever the issue may be. So it may not be a case of you solving it right away, but if you can at least respond and show that you're making progress, that seems to be something that customers are looking for. And that's why you're seeing a lot of organizations really working to make sure that their response times are faster than they've been in the past. And I think that's a trend that's not going to be stopping anytime soon. So there's a ton of really interesting things. You're seeing, we call folks that we call the fully integrated companies. So folks that said yes, that their companies have integrated processes from service and social. They've integrated teams. So it's not just the traditional team on one end and the social team on the other. You're seeing some integration taking place, and you're seeing the integration of the strategy. So the social service strategy is integrated in the overall customer service strategy, which is integrated into the overall customer engagement strategy, customer experience strategy at the top levels. And when you're seeing companies that have that fully integrated approach, which is a little more difficult to get to, but taking the time to do that, you see them actually outperforming, or at least they're seeing much better impact, very, very important impact, very positive impact on their goals and objectives. So those are some things that really stood out to me when I started digging into this thing.
So Brent, the 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index that you work with Social Media Today and SAP to come out with, it's the fourth year it's gone on. The stats from the 014 edition are from the calendar year 013. You've talked about some of the trends in the 4 years. Let's talk about a jump in just the last year from 2012 to 2013, and that would be in types of social monitoring tools. There seems to be a big difference in the tools that were used just in 2012 to 2013. Explain.
Yeah, that was really interesting and fascinating, actually, year over year. So when we looked at the data from 2012, and we asked a question about what tools are using to monitor conversations and interactions with customers, tools like Radian6 were jumped off the mat as being the top used paid solution, and it was a pretty wide margin from them to the next couple in the group. But when you look at 2013, Radian6 had really taken a downturn in terms of the number of folks who were mentioning that they were using it. And matter of fact, you saw companies like Sysomos starting to jump up, Sprinkler starting to jump up, HubSpot starting to jump up, which is really interesting when you think about a company like HubSpot, which is more known for their integrated marketing platform. But companies are using different tools to monitor and track these conversations year over year. And so it was just almost sort of like a sea change. And it would be very interesting to see what happens in the next year when we do the survey. Because if we're seeing this kind of turnover year over year, that kind of tells us that companies are still trying to figure certain things out. They're still trying to figure out their strategies, their processes, and the tools that will implement those processes year over year when it comes to a very important part of social service, which is listening to what customers are saying and trying to get the sentiment and trying to understand how they can better serve their customers. So year over year, just from 2012 to 2013 data, it was fascinating. It'll be really interesting to see if that trend continues or if we start to see a little bit more, everything starting to smooth out and there's sort of consolidating around certain kinds of software.
We're talking with Brent Leary of CRM Essentials. We're talking about the 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index. Brent, let's talk about subscription-based business models. There's been such a change with customer service. You mentioned the speed and this and that. To me, there's been a big change from being proactive as opposed to just reactive, what customer service might have been years ago. When it comes to subscription-based business models, talk about customer service and the experience, how it's playing a role in that.
Yeah, to me, this is one of the more fascinating areas. It's as we've seen over the last several years, people, consumers, even businesses are starting to consume products and services in a much different way than they had 5 years ago. We would typically go and buy something outright, and then we would use it, and maybe we'd have to buy an upgrade, and then we'd be, use it for a while. So we were very used to buying things, one of the things I kind of relate this to is, of course, everybody is with Netflix, or at least some sort of a video streaming service. Well, remember Blockbuster, where we actually used to, pay and go in and get a video and come back and watch it and go back to the store. We're not going to the store as much because a lot of times we're able to subscribe to things on a monthly basis. And so this whole idea of the subscription economy, where more and more services are being consumed for a subscription model where you pay a monthly fee and you use it for as long as there's enough value for you to use it. And so you're seeing more and more consumers take in products that way, and you're seeing more businesses taking products that way. So as companies begin to change the way that they deliver their products and services to fit the lifestyles and the expectations of the customers, it's changing the way that they formulate businesses. So these new subscription businesses are being started in a much different fashion than traditional businesses that were started. And the other aspect of that is they're starting with customer service at the forefront, because in a subscription model, particularly if you don't have a contract, which you're seeing more and more products being offered without a contract, an annual contract. So you're basically having to prove your worth every month, that your value, your service is that valuable to that person to make them sign up month over month. And so now you're seeing these business models, these subscription-based business models, having to put customer centricity and customer service at the center of the model itself. So it's not a case where we build the widget, we get the widget, focus heavily on building the widget. We got the widget built. Now we start to sell the widget. Now we're starting to sell them like hotcakes. Oh, now we're starting to get the phone calls come in. And now we got to worry about customer service. You can't do that in a subscription-based model, because as soon as you put it out there and you're starting to have people come in and sign up month to month, if you don't have service well thought out, well constructed, and well organized and implemented, you might get somebody to sign up on, in April and drop off in May. And that totally defeats the purpose, the win-win kind of value proposition of subscriptions. Make it easy for people to subscribe, service them, keep them a longer time, make them loyal, make them advocates. They bring you new business. That's the way subscriptions are working. So customer service has to be at the center, right at the very beginning of the business model being created. That's why customer service is even more important in a subscription-driven world than even the traditional world.
Brent, Amazon's Mayday button, what is it and how is it changing the game for customer support?
So I bet if you remember around Christmas of 2013, you start seeing a lot of commercials from Amazon with Amy, the customer service person. And Amy didn't come on by herself. It would come on by somebody that had a question about something going on with their Amazon Kindle. They would hit the Amazon Mayday button, and within a couple of seconds, there's Amy. So that's what Amazon Mayday is all about. It's a 24/7 customer service program that is specifically running through the Amazon Kindle. I would assume eventually it's going to run through more than that. But if you have an Amazon Kindle Fire like I do, if you have a question about something related to that device or your Amazon Prime service or subscription, you can. It's a virtual button you hit, Mayday, and within 15 seconds, they're saying 15 seconds. I did it, and it was more like 5 seconds. Somebody pops up, and you can see them in the corner of your device. They can't see you, but you can see them, and they can control your device. So if they are trying to help you do something, they can actually take control and walk you through it or show you how they can do it. And it's a really very easy service experience. And what I think is going to happen is it's going to put a lot of pressure on. Not everybody can do that. Let's face it, Amazon has the resources to be able to provide that. But it's going to make everybody else up their customer service game, because you have to be able to start taking advantage of the technology and providing it in the kind of experiences that customers are looking for. So that Mayday button, it's only been around for about 5 or 6 months, but it's going to impact the way customer service and support is done and really is expected to be done by customers.
So Brent, how about a final thought for our audience? I'm involved in customer engagement or I'm involved in customer service, either integrating it with my company or my clients or applying it in some way. What should I take away? What are some of the key points I need to take away from the 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index to look ahead going forward in my world?
I think the key that you really have to take away from this is customer expectations for service and better experiences is growing and it's always increasing. It's never stopping. So you're always going to have to look for ways to improve the way that you service them, the experiences that you create for them, where you create those experiences, be it in front of a laptop or in front of on a Kindle or on your phone or on your TV. That's the other aspect that's coming quick. You're going to be service support folks leveraging their big screens to help people out. So you have to always keep that in mind. You never reach the end with customer service support and improving it. You always have to look for how technology is impacting the way that customers want to be treated and want to be served. So with that, go through the survey, look at the case studies. We have case studies from Nissan, Discover, T-Mobile, Kimpton Hotels. It's all different industries really discussing the good, the bad, the ugly of how they've gone about implementing their customer service and social engagement and talking about how they look at it, what they needed to do, the kind of metrics that they're looking for. And all that basically allows companies to figure out how do they best serve their customers. What are the best ways to go? What are the strategies that we need to bring in? How do we bring it all together? So that's what this report is, and it'll continually be answering those questions and providing that kind of color as we keep moving these things forward.
He is Brent Leary, owner, founder, managing partner of CRM Essentials. You can find him at brentleary.com. Our conversation today about Social Media Today's 2014 Social Customer Engagement Index. Brent, great conversation. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Butch.
I'm Butch Stearns for the Customer Edge.